Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea. Welcome to Little Mountain Ranch and to my greenhouse. Although we're not going to be spending a ton of time in the greenhouse today, we actually have a big project to do outside in the main garden. But I did want to start here because I wanted to show you a couple of things that I'm seeing with my seedlings, explain what's going on, and then be able to show you how to mitigate these issues if you ever have these with your seedlings. Over on this side here, you can see a whole bunch of new seedlings that weren't here the last time we were together in the greenhouse. These are primarily all of my tomatoes here. We have a bunch of flowers. I have some of the beautiful little marigolds and my pepper plants. These plants have been needing to be potted up into larger pots for just about a week now. And I'm going to show you how I can tell by looking at these seedlings that they really need to go into larger containers. So we're going to start with our little marigold babies here. They look pretty healthy, right? Nice and green and looking good, but there's something that I noticed on these this morning. You can see that this little plant is sending out a flower already. It's obviously way too tiny for that. This is actually a dwarf variety, but it should not be producing a flower just yet. So I'm actually going to pick that off, and I'll talk about why I'm doing that in just a second. So the reason that these seedlings are starting to flower now is because they are under stress. They're in far too small of a container. They need to have more space to grow. And so the plant is being signaled that there's a possibility it might not be able to grow to maturity because it's in a stressed environment. So it is sending up a flower now so that it can produce some seed and propagate itself. That's the whole point of a plant, is to propagate itself. And if it feels that it's not going to have enough time to do that, it's going to send up anything that it can get, even if it's just a little tiny flower, so that it can produce seed. The same thing will happen with broccoli and cauliflower. If you've tried to grow broccoli and cauliflower before, you may have ended up with little tiny heads, and they're called button heads. That's exactly what this plant is doing. Is when it's stressed, it's going to send up a little tiny head to at least produce some flower or some seed rather than none at all. So the question is, can I save them? I'm not sure, because sometimes I have found with really stressed flowers, they just kind of stay stunted and don't end up taking off. But I'm going to do my best. I am going to get these potted up as soon as I possibly can within the next 24 hours, and we'll see if we can't save them. Marigolds are fairly hardy at this point. They're not hardy to frost, but they do tend to be able to withstand a little bit of stress. So hopefully they will be okay. I'm actually considering planting some of these in one of my green stalks and just planting them straight into the green stalk rather than putting them in a pot and then planting them in the green stalk later. But I'll decide that later. I do find that flowers tend to be less forgiving to stress than, say, tomatoes. We have a little tomato seedling here that at first glance, it doesn't look too bad, but if we look at the underside of the leaves, we can see some purpling there. That's actually caused by a pigment in the leaf, and it happens when a tomato plant is stressed. You might also see this on a pepper plant. I don't have any super stressed pepper plants at the moment, but that also happens with pepper plants. For the most part, I find that purpling like this is from cold stress when it comes to tomatoes, but it can also be if they are left in containers that are too small for too long. The good news is these will be able to recover no problem. What I will do, I'll take you through this when we actually go and pot them up. I'll probably put that in one of my next videos. I will pop off the little cotyledons. So that's the first leaves that come on. And then these true leaves here will leave, and we will bury this little seedling right up to the base of the true leaves. There will be roots that will come out of this stem, and we'll get a really nice, strong, sturdy little seedling, and this purpling should fade away. I am usually pretty good with potting things up when they need to be potted up, but sometimes, like this last week, it has just been so busy and I have not had an opportunity to go to town and get the newspaper that I needed to get to make my paper pots, which is what I pot up primarily, or what I use for potting up most of my seedlings. So the plan is to get that today, start making some paper pots like crazy, and get these all potted up within the next couple of days. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you, and I'm really looking forward to that for my little seedlings here. I have these adorable little dwarf tomato plants here. Look at those cuties that I think I am also going to put right into my green stock. I ordered 3 new green stalks, and I'm hopeful that they are going to come this week because I have so many plants that I want to be planting in my green stalks. Something else I want to put in my green stalk. Oh no, look, this is exactly what I'm talking about. When it comes to flowers, they do not like to be stressed. So these guys are Sweet Alyssum, and can you see the flowers starting to form on there? So I told you I was going to share why I'm going to pop these off, but this might give me a little bit more time if I take off the flower to get these into some larger containers, and then hopefully they'll continue to grow more foliage before they send out more flowers. So Sweet Alyssum I find is really prone to stress bolting like this if it doesn't have proper containers. There's a couple other things or indicators of stress in your seedlings. Stunted growth is one of them. If your plant grows and then it just stops growing, probably a sign that it needs to be put into a larger container or put out into your garden. It may also be a sign that it needs a little bit of extra feed. This is the plant fertilizer that I am using. I've been using fish fertilizer for the last couple of years, and I really like it because it's quite gentle on my little seedlings. Is there anything else that I have to show you in here? I can show you this. This is also a sign of stressed seedlings. So these are also marigolds, although a different kind than the dwarf marigolds that I showed you. And you can see that they're getting kind of long and stemmy or leggy. That's the word that's used to describe plants that look like this. So what I'm going to do here, where are my scissors? Here they are, is I'm actually going to go along and snip off the top of this right at the point that there are some really healthy looking leaves there. So I'm just going to snip these off, and this plant will branch out because I know I'm going to be potting this up in the next 24 to 48 hours. It should hopefully be saved from its little tiny container and the stress that it is experiencing being shoved in something that is way too small. Oh my goodness, that smells so good. I don't know if I've ever smelled marigold leaves before. They smell amazing. Oh my goodness. So these are going to be much happier as soon as I get them into larger containers. Poor little things, I feel bad. Okay, now we need to get our butts outside though, because I have a big project that I need to do, and I'll show you why I need to do it in just a second. Look at this. This fence has seen better days. It was built, we think, back in maybe the 1940s, possibly the 1950s. This is the original site of the original garden for the homestead that was here. The main house actually burned down back in, I think, the late 60s, but some of the old fences still remain. This is one of them. We did re-fence the whole rest of the garden, but this fence back here just obviously didn't get taken care of. And over the years, I have tried to just keep it patched up, but as you can see, there is no amount of patching that is going to save this fence. The other thing that we do is, because we have our big compost piles right over here, we bring compost up through this fence into the garden, and I take this panel off to do that. So what I'm actually going to do today is re-fence this with some page wire fencing and put a new gate right here. Dan has our tractor with our post pounder on it, and we are going to put in a new post because the gate that I have is small. We actually want a smaller gate here, just something that a wheelbarrow can fit through, but not so big that when we open it, all the cows decide they want to come in too. Because as you can see, all my cows and my horses are right there. That I'm watching all those cows and those horses over there watching me, just waiting for me to remove this fence, is I think we'll have to do it in sections and remove one panel at a time, get the page wire fence put on, and then do the next one so that I don't end up with cows in my garden. Well, there's not a lot growing in my garden yet. We do have most of the beds all reformed, and I don't want big cow hooves going through them. So let's start with getting this section taken down right here. All right, here we go. One side. Whew. I think I feel like I look a lot cooler than I actually do doing that. Okay, I wanted to take one of these panels off at a time so that I don't end up with a garden full of cows. But these ones are actually attached together, it seems. Oh, maybe not. Oh, they're not. Okay. Guess I'll have to take this one off, pull this one off, and then lean this one back up again. I'm just flipping these over so that the nails are pointing down instead of up, because even though I am paying attention, I don't want to slip and end up with a nail through my boot. This stuff is very heavy. Whew. Let me get my workout in today. This is what a fencing nail looks like, a U-nail. People talk about their summer bodies, getting ready for their summer bodies. For me, it's getting ready for summer work body, where I have some cardiovascular strength and I'm not completely winded putting in 6 fencing nails. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to wait for Dan to come down and help me to pull this. We actually have a really nifty fence puller that he made. It's a post or a pole that has 3 hooks on it, and it hooks up to the back of our quad so we can hook it on the fence and then pull. But since I'm just doing such a small area of fencing right now, I don't want to go and get that. But what I am going to do in the meantime is go grab a rake and just start cleaning up this area. It's kind of a out of sight, out of mind area of my farm, as you can tell. So I think I'm going to go grab a rake all this up, collect up whatever shrapnel is around here. Dan will be hauling off all these old pieces of fence to a burn area that we have where we can burn things that have nails in them. What I might do, I did this a couple of years ago, is made some signs out of this old wood, and it looked really cool. So I might save a few pieces of this old gray wood and make some signs. What we're wanting to do is to put road signs up on all the roads that Dan's building all over the property. And I think that might be the perfect use for this wood. I know it doesn't look like much, but every single thing pretty much that we have built ourselves in our house has been made out of old wood like this, old gray wood. I think this one is probably pine, but a lot of the wood that we have around our property is fir. Our shelves in our pantry, our shelves in our freeze dryer room, the coffee table, and the blanket box that we built the other day were all made out of old wood that looked just like this before we sanded it all off and turned it into something beautiful again. So I look at old wood very differently than I used to. So I think I will save some of these pieces. Well, we are waiting for Dan to come down. He's just on hold on the phone up at the house right now, so he has to wait until his call goes through before he can come and help me. I think we'll go back into the greenhouse again because I have a whole bunch of soil blocks that are made that we can actually start planting in. So let's go do that, and then we'll come back and finish off this fence. Alrighty, so for planting, we're gonna plant the Didiscus lace pink. We have all our poppies, which I'm not gonna be planting right now because those are gonna go outside right into the ground. And we're also gonna plant, we are gonna do some super gourmet lettuce blend, apricot cosmos, moonchild blend zinnia from Moonglow Gardens. I do have a code. This is a Canadian company, so for free shipping, I think it's within Canada. It's LMR 2025, Queenie Lime Orange. I think I showed these in my last video, but I'll do it again for those that missed it. Queenie Lime with blotch. Look at that. So pretty. Blue Point and Peppermint Stick zinnia. So we're going to plant a bunch of these. Let me bring you a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. All right, can you see? Yes. Okay. So we have our little soil blocks here. I did show how to make these in our last video. So in this tray, I am going to do some of this lettuce blend. These are what lettuce seeds look like. Little tiny seeds. And we're just going to put 2 seeds per cell so that because most likely all these seeds are going to come up. It's very difficult to do just 2 seeds with such tiny little seeds. So probably putting in a few extra in there. I like to successively plant my my lettuces. So I'm going to plant this and then I'm going to wait a week. I'm going to plant probably 2 more and I'll just keep doing that all throughout the summer. Well, as many times as I can remember to do it. Anyway, so we're just going to put this tray aside. I'm so happy with how nice my lemon balm is now looking. So these little guys here are one of those ones that really do not like to be transplanted, but I have been doing it for years and I'm just really gentle about it. They usually go into a little bit of shock, but I still get some early flowers. And that is what I like. So I had this idea to make a cut flower garden up where my potato patch was last year. So I grew my potatoes in my potato patch. And I don't think I brought you up there this year, but needless to say, it is not going to grow potatoes this year because I had really bad scab, and scab stays in the soil for quite a long time. So I don't want to plant my potatoes up there again. What do I want to do here? I got to think this through, how many I want. Each of these holds 50 soil blocks. And I could go really crazy and do 50 of each color. Why not? Let's do it. Anyway, I was thinking of turning that into a cut flower garden. And that is why I'm going to plant a ridiculous amount. So this is going to be 50, and this is just the one color, the peppermint ones. And I'm also going to direct seed into the garden as well. So I'm going to have a crazy amount of flowers this year, which just makes me so happy. To bring beauty into my life is something that I have really been striving to do this last year. And it has actually really helped with my overall mental health, just to focus on what is beautiful and good in the world. Okay, so this is our peppermint stick zinnia. We are going to cover it with a little bit of potting soil. Boy, there is going to be a lot of potting up in my future. This is the easy part of just planting these trays. The real work comes when I have to pot them all up. Okay, there we go with our peppermint stick. Some more of our soil blocks. So let's do Cinderella Peach next. This one is so pretty. I grew this one last year. I did save, I always get asked if I save my own seeds, and I do, but I also buy seeds, a lot of them, as you've seen. So I will be planting some of the ones that I saved seed from last year, and I'll just direct seed those in the garden. So there are not very many seeds in this package. I want to take my potato patch and fence it and put an arch over the entrance way so that when you pull up into the parking lot in front of our house, the first thing that you'll see when you look down is all of this rainbow of color. This beautiful cut flower garden, and I just cannot wait. It's going to be gorgeous. Okay, Do I have more of those ones? I feel like I bought more of them, but I did not. So let's do, definitely want to make sure I keep these ones separated out. We'll do our Queenie Lime with blotch. So the blotch just refers to the blotches of color that you can see all over the petals. We are still a good probably 5 or 6 weeks away from being able to plant outside. So truth be told, I probably could have waited another week or so to start these, but have some time, so we're going to take advantage of it and get these started. Oh, you guys were asking in my last video about the new heaters, these guys here that we have in our greenhouse. They are just absolutely fantastic. So I'm up in Canada and we got these from Canadian Tire, their Mastercraft brand. So if you are in Canada, you can get them there. I will try to remember to put a link down in the show notes for you, but if not, you can just pop over to, I'm kind of regretting not buying the red and pink ones that I normally grow of these Cosmos, but I could probably go find some in town if I went and looked, because I kind of picture having a whole row of Cosmos as well in my cut flower garden that I actually just decided today that I was going to do. I've been thinking about it, but I hadn't made a decision about it. But I think I have now officially decided. So you heard it first here. I am doing a cut flower garden. And that means I can bring beautiful bouquets wherever I go, because I probably won't get myself organized enough to sell them, but maybe one day. I kind of imagine doing like a U-pick flower garden, which I know seems entirely impractical because people want to buy bouquets of flowers, but I thought it would be fun to have people be able to come out and pick their own bouquets, but we'll see. Maybe one day. Okay, so we have all of these guys planted out now. I'll fill the rest with, did I already do the discus? I don't think I did. Or no, did I? Did I? Did I? It's open. So I think maybe I did start some. Well, we're going to start some more because why not? Actually, I think I maybe started some of these. Oh, I did. I started some really early. That's why this is open. So that's what our seeds look like. So we'll do. So the question is, should I mix the flowers in the rows, or should I have each one be a different flower variety? I don't know. I am not sure. I have never done a garden that's just flowers before. My goodness, it is almost too warm out here for my Simply Merino sweater. I love these. As you know, I wear them all the time. Simply Merino is a BC company, and I just love supporting them. But it is hitting that time of year where I'm going to have to put my Simply Merino away until the fall again because I am warm, especially also because I'm actually working outside, working up a sweat, which feels very good. Oh my goodness. Look what just came in my garden. Look what we have. Gentlemen, you need to go out of the garden. Come on, let's go. Come on. Out, 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 out. Come on. Out you go. Good job. Out you go. My sheep are due for a haircut. They are getting very warm with all their wool coats on, so our shearer is going to come out and give them a haircut. I completely forgot. I have not shown you our baby lambs that have been born. We still have one ewe left that is due to lamb, but I could take you in the barn before we close out this video and show you the babies. So I will do that. But I do want to plant, you know, actually, maybe I'll just wait. I think I'll wait because I just did how many trays? 3 trays, 3 full trays, or I thought it was 4. Yeah, 4 whole trays, which is 200 flowers. So I think we can probably stop there and start these in a few days. Right there? Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's perfect. Thank you. Yep. Oh, there you go.
I have no idea if that's too high here.
I don't really have anywhere I can. Are you able to pull it just a tad tighter? I am so excited about this. I have been looking at this fence for just about 10 years now, wanting to do something with it, and now I actually am. I'm gonna go up to the house and have some lunch, and then when we come back down, we will get the gate on and take that last bit of fence off and put some page wire on there, and then we'll be done. Alrighty, let's see if we measured these holes right. Oh. Yay! But so now we'll just tighten all these bolts up and then get this last little bit of fence on and we will be done. All right, friends, I am extremely happy with the way that this turned out. One thing that it does make me realize though, is that I really need to clean up this whole entire area. Well, Dan and I both do because we need to move all of the old equipment. He has also a bunch of old equipment. I don't know if you can see that down there that he's planning on moving because now I need this to be a beautiful view, not a whole bunch of junk. But other than that, I could not be happier with how this turned out. And in real time, it probably took about 2 hours total to do this fence. I think I'm going to hold off showing you where I'm going to be doing the flower garden until our next video. But I will take you down to the barn like I promised and show you our new babies. All right, friends, here we go. So this is Prim, and you remember how she was a terrible mom last year? Well, she has done an absolutely fantastic job this year. This over here is her baby, cutie. And this one here is this girl's baby. And she has also done a fantastic job. And then we have this girl over here who is a good mom. This is her little baby over here. But if you'll remember last year, Hazel got pregnancy toxemia and she did again this year. So I'm not going to be breeding her again. She just does not handle pregnancy well. I didn't have toxemia in any of my other sheep, so I know that it is an issue with Hazel since it's been 2 years in a row now. This is her little baby, and as you can see, she's really tiny. And also, I just decided just now I'm going to start supplementing her with a couple of bottles a day, because I just don't think Hazel is providing her with enough milk, because she always seems to be hungry. But isn't she cute? I think she is the cutest. Hi, honey. She's so cute. And then we have this lady over here. She is the last one to go. As you can see, she is very pregnant. So I don't think it's going to be long until we're probably going to have, maybe even today. She is panting. So we'll see. But before we have another baby. So much, much better lambing year than last year. That's for sure. All right, my friends, that is going to be it for me today. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, everyone.